Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was one person, Mr. John Chepochok, who was notoriously mentioned in the submissions. And Mr. Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the James Finley Company suspended one John Chepochok. He was contracted to look for workers. And he was doing that for a couple of years from 2017. But since after the expos, his services were stopped. And then also, Mr. Speaker, the James Finley decided now to absorb all the employees and to employ them without contracting. So that is one of the decisions that was arrived at by the James Finley. At the Ekatera company, which is formerly Unilever, we found that the management was doing something. There were cases that had been reported, but each of those cases, Mr. Speaker, had been reported with the criminal investigations offices, and some were matters in court, some had been already dealt with, and others are cases that are ongoing in court. So we found out that this issue of the BBC expos was not the only issue that had been reported, but several other cases had been reported. Some have already been dealt with, while others are ongoing. Then also, I want to associate myself with the sentiment from the Honourable Member from Kamukoji that, Mr. Speaker, it is time now the CSs come here, because in their submissions, we found out that they are giving us very inadequate details. So when they come here, we will be able to ask them supplementary questions, and I don't think they will be coming here without being adequately prepared. Mr. Speaker, I have heard from the Honourable Martha, and it is true. While the women, the workers, and mostly the women in these two companies were agreeing with us that there has been sexual exploitation and harassment in those two companies, most of them who even have contracted HIV were not willing to come out and report. And the reason was they believe that if they report, they'll be fired. Secondly, stigmatization. No one wants to be seen on TV and in the screens as having been one of the victims. But I also want to agree with the Honourable, because that is also contained in our report, which will be tabled shortly and possibly tomorrow, that investigations through our able DCI officers should begin with the person who did the expos. We are considering requesting him to be the person to be complained, so that the process of prosecuting those accused can begin, since right now we do not have anyone complaining. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, Colonel Russell.